Hi guys, I just want to make a little video of the mechanics of the BE high-speed swivel. I use my channel lock to get this little circlip ring off, and that was able to come off, and then you slide the bearings out of the bearing housing. I'm doing this one-handed, so be a little patient. So that was able to come out there, and there's the shafts for the two bearing that BE has on their swivel. This little groove you see in here on the shaft is the position for O-ring. This face here is where they put one of the mating faces for the mechanical seal. There's another circlip that you have to remove here in order to get access to the bearings. I'm not sure if you could see the numbers there. The numbers are S6302Z. Not quite sure if it's the same type of bearing on the other side. Probably some type of radial truss bearing. And of course, don't forget the little sleeve. There's a little sleeve over there. Okay, let's get down back to the housing. Inside the housing, you need to get this entire ring out. I thought there was another C-clip holding that in place because it was very tough to move. But what really happened was there is an O-ring between this face and the housing, bearing housing. So if the mechanical seal did fail, you don't get the water coming all the way down to the bearings and then damaging the bearings. So I was able to pop that out. Let's see if it's going to come out easily now, since already. Oh, here we go. So that's the inside of the housing, and these are the other two components inside the housing. Okay, this portion, if I was to reassemble it on the outside, this ring would go on top here like that, and this is another ring that contains a O-ring on the inside there. So what that does is contain, when the mechanical seal is leaking, it contains the water from entering the shaft along this portion, coming along the shroud, and then there's another O-ring on the outside to prevent water from entering from along between the housing and the bearing, and this O-ring here prevents water from entering between the shroud and the shaft. So this is the other face of the mechanical seal in there. You're going to see that's going to come out. I use my pin punch that out from the other, the reverse, the inlet of the swivel, and then we got the mechanical seal. We got a stainless steel spring, a washer to support the spring, and a damaged O-ring on the mechanical seal. And this is the mechanical seal face. So how this works? You have the spring that applies tension to help seat this mechanical face onto the mechanical face on the shaft, and if for some reason there's imperfections in the mechanical seal faces, it's going to leak. Also, it will leak if the spring tension is not adequate, or there's some impurities between the faces. So that, lifts off the seat, and then water starts leaking between that little gap there. So that's exaggerated a little bit. If the seal was not holding on the face, it starts leaking all around here, and we gotta go down inside between the shafts so that O-ring stops it, or it goes on the outside of this, and then the secondary O-ring that's inside the housing here, right there, stops it from getting to the bearing. So when it does leak, there's an opening. The whole entire housing in this portion here fills up with water, and it leaks through this hole comes along a cavity that's inside the bearing housing out through this hole, so then you know that your mechanical seal has failed. Just a little video. I have about, as you can see, another one, and I have about 4 of these BE swivels that has failed on me within the last 30 hours. I'm thinking because of the heater which I operate is outside the specs of the manufacturer. I think it's up to 180 degrees, 7 gallons a minute or so, 8 gallons a minute I believe. And sometimes when I crank it up to 225, I guess you just have a little too much heat. It could also be attributed to the amount of impurities in the water supply, calcium, etc. Especially when you shut down the swivel for any length of time in between uses, and the deposits start to harden on the mechanical face. Alright guys, thanks for your time.